Swadika. Good morning to you all. I would like to give a talk on what I have had experience working with the Distance Learning Foundation and also working closely with the Ministry of Education, the Office of Basic Education Commission in expanding the use of distance learning television to schools all over the country. First of all, I would like to talk about the education as stated in the Constitution. The country's development and competitiveness with other nations requires adequate and equal education opportunity for all citizens. Section 49 of Thailand's 2007 Constitution states that a person shall have an equal right to receive education for the duration of no less than 12 years. The state shall provide quality education without charge to all citizens as well as support non-formal and informal education, self-directed learning and lifelong learning. This is in accordance with the objective and provision set forth in Section 6 in the National Education Act 1999, which states that education shall aim at complete development of the Thai people in all aspects: physical and mental health, knowledge, morality, integrity, and desirable way of life, so as to be able to live in harmony with other people. In addition to normal form of education provided at different levels, basic, vocational, and tertiary, distance education is considered another essential form of education to be promoted in order to provide equal educational opportunity for all citizens. The development of distance education via satellite in Thailand dates back to the 1990s. In 1994, the Department of Non-Formal Education, Ministry of Education, began offering distance learning programs via satellite at primary and secondary school levels for out-of-school children and adults, especially those in rural areas who may not have the opportunity to finish school due to personal or financial reasons. The first university in Thailand to provide open admission education programs through formal education instruction is Ramkhamhaeng University, founded in 1971. And it started distance learning via satellite, direct-to-home broadcasting in 1996. But 1 year before that, in 1995, is the establishment of the Distance Learning Foundation. Also, the Sukhothai Thammathirat Open University, established in 1978, provides open admission educational programs as the first single-mode distance education institution, and in 2001, it started broadcasting via satellite to all regions around Thailand. Students can access classes at various provincial education centers or at home. And the most recent development is distance learning information technology in 2015, initiated by the Office of Basic Education Commission, Ministry of Education. Long before No Child Left Behind became a buzzword in American education in 2002, His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej saw the need to bring a full level of education to every child in the country and has personally worked to enhance the education in Thailand. There are many remote areas where education is not easily accessible, with a shortage of teachers and inadequate resources for schools. Education has been of particular interest of His Majesty the King throughout his long reign, and he takes a personal interest in ensuring that every child has an opportunity to learn, that the learning is based on moral teaching and that it incorporates lifelong learning opportunity. With rapid growth and continuous change in telecommunication technology, Thailand's first telecommunication satellite was launched in 1993. His Majesty King Bhumibol has kindly granted its name Thaikom. Its services include communication through radio, television, telephone, mobile, and information technology. To commemorate the auspicious occasion of the 50th anniversary of His Majesty King Bhumibol's accession to the throne in 1996, Mr. Kwan-Kaew Wacharothai, Grand Chamberlain of the Royal Court, in charge of Special Affairs, discussed with the then Minister of Education the possibility of operating the satellite television education broadcast from Wangkaigawon School, the private school under His Majesty, in order to help solve the teacher shortage problem in several schools across the country. Vocational education was also planned to broadcast in order to commemorate the Queen Mother's kind initiative of vocational curriculum, which led to the establishment of Wangkaigawon Industrial and Community Education College. The Distance Learning Foundation was established in 1995 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of His Majesty King Bhumibol's accession to the throne. His Majesty the King entrusted Mr. Kwan-Kaew Wacharothai to serve as the chairman of the foundation, of which the ambitious goal and mission is to bring a complete education to every child in the country, regardless of status or location. Since then, the Distance Learning Foundation has been a major provider of distance education in Thailand. In 1995, His Majesty the King granted 50 million baht as a first grant to establish the distance learning television station at Wangkaigawon School, which is a private school under His Majesty located near the Summer Palace in Hua Hin, about 200 kilometers south of Bangkok. There are 15 channels broadcast 24/7 on the distance learning television. His Majesty granted the permission for live broadcast of grade 1 to 12 classes from Wangkaigawon School with a separate channel operated by a corresponding control unit for each grade. Therefore, Wangkaigawon School serves as a parent school for all schools receiving distance learning programs for basic education, which are beamed via satellite directly to every school in the country. Additional channels are included for university level broadcast, vocational broadcast, and international programs. The 15 channels being broadcast out of the distance learning television are available on ordinary satellite broadcast as well as on the internet. In addition, in order to facilitate remote schools with effective teaching and learning via DLTV, His Majesty has allowed the Distance Learning Foundation to print teachers' manuals, books for all subjects and all grades, written by the teachers of Wangkaigawon School, and distribute them to remote schools free of charge. His Majesty the King has always been interested in the educational programs broadcast from the distance learning television. In addition to kind advice regarding the technical operation and the equipment installation, His Majesty has kindly given the royal permission to broadcast an educational program called Quest for Knowledge, of which some episodes show His Majesty teaching Wangkaigawon School students not in the classroom but in the field. I would like to show you a short clip of this program.
นี่ที่แรกมันลึกลงไปประมาณ1.50 เมตรไม่มีแล้วก็เอาทรายมาใส่ประมาณ50 เซนติเมตรหรือ1 เมตรแล้วก็ เอาดินจากเชิงเนินมาใส่แล้วทีนี้ก็ที่เห็นได้ว่าดินมันจากดินลูกรังมันกลายเป็นดินที่ใช้ได้นี่ตั้ง40 ปีก่อนแล้วเกือบ50 ปีนี่มันหลายปีมันก็ดินมันก็สลายมันเปลี่ยนไปเป็นดินที่เรียกว่าใช้ได้เพราะว่ามีปลูกหญ้าปลูกต้นไม้อะไรมันก็ทำให้ดินมันเปลี่ยนแปลงนี่เราอยู่ตรงนี้เราอยู่นี่ที่เข้ามานี่ก็เราต่อไปนี่ที่ทางหลวงสถานีก็ประมาณแถวนี้ที่เขาไปขุดดินถ้าเจาะลงไปถึง2 เมตรเข้าใจว่า2 เมตรได้ไอ้นี่สนุกนะได้เห็นเขาเจาะลงไปแต่นี่ที่เป็นโคลนก็เพราะว่ามันน้ำมันลงไปมันก็ช้าไอ้ดินที่เป็นดินที่เปลี่ยนแปลงนี้ตรงนี้ดินมันเปลี่ยนแปลงเพราะว่ามีพืชมันก็ดินมันทำงานก็มีพืชมีก็ทำให้เป็นดินเท่ากับมีปุ๋ยดินลูกรังเนี่ยมันมีปุ๋ยแต่ว่าไม่สามารถที่จะคายปุ๋ยออกมาสำหรับพืชก็จะต้องถึงเราใส่ได้ไปเห็นนะไอ้ยาแฝกมันเจาะลงไปแล้วก็พาพวกจุลินทรีย์ลงไปด้วยก็ทำให้ดินดีขึ้น
That clip shows His Majesty the King teaches the students of Rang Gregmun School regarding the quality of soil and how to make it more fertile. And I would like to say that he is the pioneer in experiential learning approach. Realizing the important mission of providing educational quality and equality, the Distance Learning Foundation takes full responsibility in broadcasting basic education, vocational education, tertiary education, as well as general knowledge to students at all levels, out-of-school children and adults and people in general. The Distance Learning Foundation has had cooperation and support from organizations in Thailand, for example, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, TOT Public Company Limited, Sukhothai Chamatirat Open University, Institute for the Promotion of Teaching Science and Technology, National Electronics and Computer Technology Center, the Embassy of the United States of America, and also from international organizations such as UNESCO, CMIO, Japan Sasakawa Foundation, Swedish Agency for Flexible Learning, University of Oregon in the United States, and École Nouvelle de la Suisse Romande in Switzerland. According to a survey on the use of distance learning television in 2013, conducted by the Distance Learning Foundation and the Office of Basic Education Commission, 6,628 schools, mostly at primary level in all parts of the country, have actively participated in distance learning of basic education broadcast from Rang Gregmun School. It has been found out from the survey that these schools have been in a critical condition with a shortage of teachers. They do not have enough teachers for all classes, and most teachers do not have the expertise in teaching particular subjects. For example, there are only 2 to 3 teachers in a school operating classes of grades 1 to 6, resulting in one teacher teaching 2 classes at the same time. And you can see from this clip that this gentleman is taking care of 2 classes. After he finishes instructing the students, he moves on to the other class. Moreover, it has always been the case where a teacher of physical education has to teach a mathematics or science class while a teacher of Thai language has to teach English lesson. The survey in 2013 revealed that more than 80% of school directors and teachers found distance learning television very useful. More than 55% of school directors and teachers found that the LTV helped solve the teacher shortage problem. And more than 50% of school directors and teachers found that the LTV helped teachers who were not capable of teaching particular subjects. The Distance Learning Foundation has effectively solved the teacher shortage by allowing the teachers of Wang Grengwon School to have a virtual presence at all schools across the country via the distance learning television. They teach the class at the parent school while the teachers in remote schools, despite the lack of expertise in the subjects, will act as teacher assistants or co-teachers, oversee their own class, guide their students, and help them participate in and interact with the parent classrooms. In addition to providing educational opportunities when there were none before, the Distance Learning Foundation has also helped create a more unified standard of education to all schools in the country. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn once gave a royal speech regarding the distance learning as quoted. Distance learning provides educational opportunity and equality to those with limited or no access to education. It is beneficial especially for teaching subjects that require qualified teachers. Instead of teaching in just one school, the teacher can now teach more the students, including those in remote schools. Having realized the benefits of the distance learning television in expanding educational opportunities and reducing educational disparities, in 2014, the Ministry of Education have assigned all 15,369 small schools with less than 120 students across the country to make use of the distance learning television in their teaching and learning process. This accounts for about 1 million students and 60,000 teachers. It is aimed to solve the problem of teacher shortage in these small schools, whether it be not enough teachers for all classes or not enough teachers capable of teaching particular subjects. The encouraging results of the use of the distance learning television at the end of the academic year 2014 showed the increasing scores of the OBEC National Test or NT test of the third grade students, a 3.1 increase, and those of the ordinary National Educational Test or ONET test of the sixth grade students, a 2.78% increase. And this is for only one semester of using the LTV. More importantly, it has been found out from the survey that students' learning behavior in distant small schools have significantly improved. They become more enthusiastic and motivated. They look forward to and enjoy studying with the teachers in the parent school, that is the Wang Grengwon School. They become more active learners, pay more attention to the lessons, and are more responsible for their learning. I would like to show you a small clip of how the students are enthusiastic and enjoy learning through the LTV.
เป็นตัวตั้งบวกด้วย2ซึ่งเป็นตัวบวกผลบวกได้เท่ากับเท่าไหร่คะได้เท่าไหร่เอ่ยเดี๋ยวยังไม่เฉลยนะคะ ยังไม่เฉลยค่ะในไทยเสร็จแล้วลูกข้อนี้เป็นการทบทวนความรู้บวกด้วย5ผลบวกได้เท่ากับเท่าไหร่พยายามคิดเองค่ะพยายามคิดเองนะคะผ่านไหมลูกข้อที่2ผ่านไหม
You can see from the clip that the voice of the teacher is from the television, from Wangkarengwon school, from the parent school. There's no teacher in that class, and you see how the students are engaged in the learning with the what they call in Thai kru tu. Kru is teacher, tu is a box because in the past, the television set is in the shape of a box, so they call it kru tu or tele teacher. And you see how they react to the tele teacher, just like they are reacting to the actual teacher in the classroom, how they are enthusiastic. And they raise their hands, they answer the questions, regardless of whether the tele-teacher would be able to hear them or not. And that's very fascinating. Regarding the teachers at distant small schools, they are more satisfied with getting support from distance learning television in their teaching and learning process. Teachers from the parent school help them teach the classes where there are not enough teachers or where the teachers are not capable. In addition, teachers agree that the LTV increases the students' opportunities to learn from more than one teacher at a time, and at the same time gives the teachers the opportunities to learn from teachers at parent school and improve their teaching techniques. This also helps promote on-the-job training on the part of the teachers. In addition, according to the public opinion survey conducted in January 2015 by one of the most popular Thai polls, Sundusit poll, on the OBEC expansion or the use of distance learning television in 15,369 small schools all over the country, 81.95% of the general public agreed that DLTV is very useful for providing educational quality and equality to help underprivileged students to have more educational opportunities and help solve the teacher shortage problem. 88.61% agree that students gain more knowledge and skills from learning from DLTV. They are able to study with skilled teachers with interesting teaching methods. Moreover, 78.85% were very satisfied with the LTV because it is a project initiated by His Majesty the King, which provides equal opportunities for quality education to children countrywide. The key success in providing educational quality and equality via distance learning television involves commitment and participation of all parties concerned, that is, the policymakers, the administrations, the teachers, the students, parents, and communities. Thailand has been blessed by the royal support of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej and his royal family in all aspects of the country development. His Majesty has had a particular interest in education. He granted 50 million baht as a startup budget to establish the Distance Learning Foundation and the Distance Learning Television Station. He gave a royal permission to have Wangkarengwon School, a private school under His Majesty, as a parent school to broadcast live classes of grades 1 to 12 in order to provide equal opportunities for basic education to children across the country, especially those in remote areas. Moreover, His Majesty granted a royal permission for DLTV to broadcast Quest for Knowledge program, where he was using an experiential learning method to encourage students to learn from real-time environment when he kindly allowed Wangkarengwon school students to follow him to different places while visiting his people. His Majesty the King's kindness and kind interest in education has been the most significant key success of the development of distance learning in Thailand. As for the policymakers, they include the government, the Ministry of Education, the Office of Basic Education Commission. The Distance Learning Foundation has had continuing support from the policymakers since the establishment of the foundation in 1995. Realizing the shortage of teachers, especially in small schools with fewer than 120 students, has long been an obstacle to improving education in Thailand. The government and the Ministry of Education have agreed that the distance learning television is one of the best solutions to the problem. Other alternatives to tackling the teacher shortage problem have been tried in vain. For example, closing down small schools were rejected by parents and communities. Commuting students from their school to another school nearby was difficult due to lack of transportation or safety problem. With the use of distance learning television, small schools do not need to close down. Students do not need to take risks commuting. Though these small schools still have the teacher shortage problem, DLTV can help with the teaching. The teacher in small schools does not need to teach 2 classes at the same time as before. The key success factors related to the policymakers are a long-term policy with continuing support for understanding and cooperation of administration at all levels, clear instructions to put policy into practice, awareness raising, and financial support. With regard to the administration, communication is the key. Communication at all levels will help ease the implementation process. The administration at the top level have to make sure the administration in various education areas across the country understand the policy, the concept, and the implementation stages. The key factors related to the administration include effective communication, clear implementation stages, meeting and consultations. The implementation stage involves 15,000 schools, and that means 15,000 school directors and more than 60,000 teachers. In order for the school directors and teachers to be successful in the implementation process, they need to understand how to make proper use of distance learning television. And so the key success factors related to school directors and teachers are effective communication again, clear implementation stages, meeting, consultations and training, and technical support. One of the most important key success is the teachers in the schools using distance learning television. They have to understand that DLTV helps improve and facilitate their teaching and learning process, and that they are co-teaching with the teachers in parent school. They have to prepare the teaching materials for their students as instructed by the teachers at parent school before the broadcast classes. However, they must not let their students alone with DLTV. They have to help monitor the class, follow through the class with their students, and help provide supplementary teaching or additional explanation during as well as after the broadcast class. The teacher at parent school acts as the main teacher in each class, while the teacher in the schools using DLTV serves as facilitator. The key success factors include effective communication for understanding and cooperation, clear implementation stages, meeting and training programs, supervision from peers, from teachers at parent schools, supervisors, administration, and technical support. Students, on the other hand, have had to understand the new teaching and learning process using distance learning television. However, from past experience and from the video clip that you have just seen, most students are eager to learn with teachers at parent school via DLTV. This is because CLGB provides them with more than one teachers, whereas in real situation, they have to share one teacher between two or more classes, or have just one teacher teaching all subjects. And so the key success related to students are motivation, enthusiasm, and cooperation. New and interesting teaching and learning methods from the parent school, stimulating classroom environment because they see the teacher in the parent school, and they also see from the television the students in the parent school classes, so they feel like these are their classmates, and so they are more stimulated to learning with their classmates. And also with self-discipline and self-monitoring, you can see from the clip that the students are self-monitoring themselves in learning, and they have the discipline. In addition to distance learning television, the Office of Basic Education Commission, the Ministry of Education, has decided to launch distance learning information technology as another alternative means to effective basic education in Thailand. Information technology will provide opportunities for medium, large, and extra-large schools with IT facilities to have access to various IT resources in order to make effective use of these resources in their teaching and learning process. The following video clip will show what the GLIT project looks like.
DLIT is a learning and teaching program by utilizing ICT, which emphasizes on solving problems for mid-size and large-size schools, as well as sustainably solving overall educational problems. There are 5 formats of DLIT. First, DLIT Classroom, Quality Classroom. Second, DLIT Resources, Collection of teaching and learning resources. Third, DLIT Library, Online Library. Fourth, DLIT PLC, Professional Learning Community. Fifth, DLIT Assessment, Archive of Tests. DLIT Classroom is the extension of the quality classroom from leading schools in the nation to other mid-size and large-size schools to create equal opportunity in learning. DLIT Classroom will stress on learning programs and topics that are difficult to teach or understand, in which most students are being faced with learning difficulties. Such learning programs and topics include Thai, Science, Mathematics, English, and Social Studies. DLIT resources are the collection of teaching and learning resources in compliance with the basic education core curriculum, which are systematized and categorized so teachers can use them promptly. Teaching materials include slides, videos, games, and other applications. Teachers can utilize DLIT to convey lessons, to encourage students to think, to use teaching materials as questions and answers, exercises, or lesson reviews. In addition, there are also videos teaching how to make teaching materials in different formats so that teachers are accessible to different tools and their teaching efficiency will be enhanced. Students are able to understand hard topics and enjoy learning more. From now on, teachers will have the same teaching materials, which in turn meaning that students will have an equal opportunity in learning. DLIT Library is the online library for teachers, students, parents, and general public. DLIT is the online library with appropriate curriculum materials. DLIT PLC, or Professional Learning Community, is an effective tool in building and developing community for teachers. Since sustainable development in education means building learning community for every teacher in the country. DLIT PLC helps strengthen unity among teachers and relevant personnel. to further develop educational system in Thailand for the utmost benefit of every Thai student. DLIT assessment is an archive of previous tests from grade 1 to 12. DLIT assessments is an assessment for learning, not for testing. Therefore, teachers can utilize them to test students' understanding on a particular subject. The objective of DLIT is to enhance students' learning capabilities so that they will possess desirable characteristics in compliance with the educational requirements of the 21st century. Teachers will be provided with necessary tools to continuously develop their career path, and Thailand's education system will surely move forward.
However, whether it be the distance learning television or the distance learning information technology, it is the people who play the most important role in ensuring the effective use of technology. What technology is used is not as important as how we use it. In addition to the initiatives that encourage and promote the use of technology in education, it is also compulsory to develop the awareness, the knowledge, the skills that enable the efficient use of technology in the policymakers, the administrations, the teachers, as well as the students. More importantly, we have to bear in mind that technology can never replace teachers. Teachers play an important role in creating trust and inspiring students in an environment where learning occurs and grows. Technology alone cannot offer these skills. No technology can ever compromise the essence of what a teacher is, always has been, and always will be. Thank you.